August 30th, 2022. Kelly Brough, Chief Strategy Officer versus Marcus Giavanni, Chief Strategy Officer. You know, when people call themselves a Chief Strategy Officer, depending on who's calling her that, how long does she hold the position, what is the other node connection she has in regards to being a Chief Strategy Officer. She did the Denver Metro Chamber President, CEO. $450,000 a year she made. And I remember meeting her and the mayor, Vidal, or I don't remember. That's how significant he was to me. Because once he started talking, I knew he was no businessman. I knew he was just a polished wannabe politician that has been able to shuck and jive his way into being a leader because he looked good and he dressed good and he talked pretty articulate. But when it came down to getting to the meat and potatoes of what Metro Chamber Commerce was all about, he started choking. And Kelly came up with her big red lips, trying to fanoozle me. You know, oh hey, I'm Kelly. Geek geek geek. Cheese it. You're just putting too much cheese whiz coming off that face. Back up, lady. But that's how they do it. You look at all the cheese whiz pictures of her and, you know, all these other Tammy Doors and all these lovable, huggable shoe shine girls back in the day are now older women trying to hang on to stuff that they don't have any control of anymore. And that's sad. I don't want people talking shit about me. But they talk shit about me with things that aren't even true, so I don't care about it anymore. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. You know. Whoa. Anyway, so when you look at the obvious in regards to the storyline, Metropolitan, she quit or resigned a $450,000 job to go work as a new made-up position just for her, by the way, by Janine Davidson, another outdated hack. No, I'm sure they achieved great things, but we're talking about now. What you did in the past has no reflection in what you're going to do for the future unless you have a plan and you're executing things that are moving the college forward. But with a 48% graduation rate, how dare you even to consider yourself anything like Denver University? They're sporting 78% with a 61% acceptance, which means that they're almost 50. They're at a good balance. You want your college hard to get into. You don't accept everybody, but you know when you're 47%, when you're 47% and 81% acceptance, that's wrong. And see, if you don't know how to read that, and the people that are here that are supposed to be the experts won't tell anybody the truth because that's how they get paid, by those people. And so now we have artificial intelligence that's going to clean it all up. And I'm going to cut this short. The good news is, right here, see that? CBS is the first, and they stay on it. I got to admit it. They got that guy with the next. I like him, man. He's got eyes like my mom. I know that sounds crazy. I had a white mom. Irish lady. Badass. She was born on Catalina Island. She was the first white island girl. I mean, a lot of island girls, but to be born on Catalina Island was a big thing. Very big thing. But enough of that. I'm just talking about now CBS and its new role as the new possible non-political FCC regulated local station. No matter what its affiliates are in any other city, I don't care. But when you're talking about CBS News and where we are going with the fake news and the bias and, you know, tabloid supermarket stuff, compared to journalism. Like my stuff is organic and it's raw, and I drop f bombs, and I just keep it street. And some people read that, they don't comment, they just use it for feed of thought. They don't let anybody know. The only ones they know that they were there is Google or their internet provider. And if you're using DuckDuckGo or any other kind of hidden, uh, don't let Google watch you. You're just, think about that. Think about what you're trying to do. You're buying an app that tells everybody, we'll hide your identity. If you were a law enforcement, what would you say? Why are you hiding your identity? If you're going to worry about hiding your identity, hide your birth dates on your social pages. Quit showing all these pictures of your kids that could be used against you. You never know. I mean, it's coming, folks. There's some crazy stuff coming. Far more than what our United States is prepared for. But with that said, CBS, they were too soft for me. I saw some. I just wasn't a big fan of some of the softer spoken uh, news anchors, and so I kind of stepped away from it. But I did like the weather guys on CBS, but we'll worry about that later. But the fact that they said that here that Kelly worked at recently. Brough worked at MSU Denver, as Chief Strategy Officer. So far, other announced candidates for mayor are Marcus Giavanni. Every publication, Westward, all of them, they've all put me in the back of the queue because those are the node connections to the partisanship that's been going on in Denver for 60 fucking years. And CBS, I'm sorry for the language, but this is who I am. I wouldn't do it on TV unless I got pissed off or aroused or something. Just teasing. Gotta have fun. We gotta laugh at each other. See, I don't hear anybody laughing. I hear nothing but silence, but it's funny to me. A lot of my stuff is dark black humor. And I'm not talking racism, even though I am West Nigerian. Yeah, did you know that? So, but what they did was, being the first FCC regulated station, they actually put me in the order of where it was. So far, announced candidates. They could have went a little further and identified me more, but CBS has to protect its brand. And I don't think candidates realize they just can't put everybody on there and waste time. They would love to do a round table. Maybe they should put the round table now. Take advantage of this time that we're going into the midterms. We can talk about other things. We're able to handle a lot more things than, okay, well, now that this election's over, let's go to the next one, kitty. Come on, man. That's so third world country. Denver cannot be Silicon Mountains like promised by Hancock if we're nothing but homeless problems and destroying other people's property values so we can put up homeless shelters when we can put these people in homes right now. And I have a plan. But see, people don't want to hear the plan, and when I do talk, the next thing you're going to know, Kelly Eyebrow is going to come in and frickin' try to bloviate in reverse engineered speech all my content, and that's what they're doing now. That's why when she came out and she declined, and that's what sucks. If you look at, well, I mean, you can decline not to run, and then all of a sudden, well, when you're asked the question, she should have said, yes, I'm going to be putting a team together, and been honest. But she's been lying so much to people, she don't know the difference. Neither does her team, and we got her. Now it's up to CBS to hold all these candidates under the fire, not for anything they've done or haven't done or what they're going to do, but give them a platform to talk. Even if it's at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning when you got that paid TV. Use some of that time for your public service announcements. And you get people on a round table, all those candidates talking, there's going to be some and you make it unrated. So look, you better be 18 years old to watch this stuff. I mean, that's the way it is. MMA, baby. I mean, we won't be throwing punches, of course, but it's going to get rowdy. We want rowdy. We want to see who's going to come in there and fight for down. I want a pit bull. No, I want a poodle. No, I want a chihuahua. I want a chihuahua named Chico. I want Chico Mayor. That's Giovanni. I'm Chico. Most people don't even know. Some people thought it was Mexican. That's why they say Mexican and not Mexican. Don't ever underestimate the Mexican people. Even though I'm not Mexican, I'm Central American, so we share the same DNA, but I come from a different island. But with that said, CBS has no clue that the stock market gods are about to make a big change, and by CBS putting my name first, whether out of all the people this whole time, a lot of them coming in there reversing their content, they don't think they like it's not going to matter, and it all gets indexed from those who are manipulating, who's suppressing everything that they're claiming to fight for. Guess what? They get replaced with people that can actually do what they say, and that's why you see me. I've been doing strategic stuff for a long time. A lot of my content, if not all of it, is based off 3 board games: Game of Life, Monopoly, and Stratego. I used all those terms and conditions and rules of all those games, along with some of my other stuff, and I came up with my own language. And being a strategic guy that I am, what happened with Kelly is they were all talking about the time she was resonating. Well, we think it's time for this, take advantage of this downtime for the COVID. This way, no one will ask us how much money you were paid because they'll forget about it. But she made $450,000 a year, folks. All those businesses that paid that dude paid, and they didn't tell me. I would have said the same thing. You make $450,000? No wonder why you guys all dress good and everybody else looked like peasants. I mean, compared to the way they were dressed. I mean, you know the difference between designer clothes and non-designer clothes and shoes. And I think it's Mayor Vidal. I'm not sure. I should know, but that's how significant he was. None at all. He was a stepping stone for another situation that happened, and it's all been downhill. And all these people are all hiding out in departments, working, making big money, hoping no one will ever find them. And, it's sad because you can find anybody now. Anybody. And it's all done by our latent voice prints. And now we got the GPS to know where you're at, and we got the cell tower pings to find out if you're on your cell phone or not, or where you're at, and do all other kinds of information that is needed so that Homeland Security can guard us from ourselves. And so what's going on right now, our adversaries are laughing, but someone's going to come up like CBS and just do professional journalism. And the thing is they're FCC regulated. Westward's not. That's why CBS is going to start taking the LinkedIn. When I see LinkedIn over CBS News, I don't want to hurt CBS, but you got some wrong people doing some things that we can fix. And you can't be mad because they just didn't know. They're too busy doing their own grind, and there's nobody teaching what we know now have developed ourselves. And it's all about empowering our local people beyond the World Wide Web. Beyond it. And beyond the World Wide Web is the metaverse. And each one of us have our own metaverse. We're all in control of our own data. We have to farm it ourselves. We have number one authority over ourselves. As soon as you give it to somebody else, then you get watered down. Your social scores and rankings, you get watered down. You start losing it. Just like financial, where you're overextended, too many credit cards, too many other kind of things. Well, with social, you're going to be overextended. too many social apps, too many likes, too many. You're not engaging, if you will, all your inner node connections the way you should because you have too many. And see, we know this because we've done it by trial and error. So right now, CBS is in local time. See, whatever they do in any other city, we're non-political. And see, all their people never had to worry about looking up the law or asking their lawyers about the Spear Amendment and what happened in 1963 and been taken over by the League of Women Voters and Denver Inc. and Denver Decides, and all the people on the committees are the same people sitting in the city council and running for mayor, like Ian Tafoya, that garbage picker. He freaking hashtag believe Ian. That's his handle. And I've used content that I know that's in the cloud and that meetings that we had and how he deceived me and that he was just a troll for Denver Inc. And that's how he brags about his working with the Latino organization that Lisa Calderon had, Calderon. And Lisa went in and tried to tell Candy Citibaca what to do. That's what we hear. Sources tell us. And Candy's like, look, I already got a mom and I got a grandma. I don't need another one. You have to carry your elegant ass out the door, girl. Because that's just how that conversation probably went down. I'm just surmising. I'm just laughing, trying to make goodwill of things. But this ain't a goodwill time. This is time for Denver to take a look of who they really are and what they become. And that the slogan, "We are all Denver," is quite achievable. We own cityandcountyofdenver.us, cityandcountyofdenver.com, .net, .org. Those are the commercial. We're getting ready to sell those. And I'd like to sell it locally, but it looks like that the local people have their own idea of what they think their metaverse is going to be, and they have no clue that there's always somebody more powerful in regards to what they've achieved in their lives, which is now used as meta tags. Meta tags, meta experiences for meta description. And you either can do what you can or you can't. And it's all triggered now by latent voice prints, by crosstalk indexing. You can forget your phone, and this is coming, folks. You're going to be able to forget your phone in your car, your buddy's phone who has your contact information in his phone. You'll be able to say, hey, Google. And it'll go, yeah, Giovanni? How you doing today? I'm doing fine. How are you? I'm perfectly fine. That's the conversation I have with mine. It's badass. I'm just learning it myself. It kind of freaks me out. I'm just got to get used to it always listening to me. Every sound, everything I need. Oh, I farted. Shit. I just got advertising for Pepto-Bismol or for some Rolaids. Oh, honey, I got a bad headache. Shit, I just got advertising for some Tylenol and to go talk to my doctor. And then you got the apps that you can wear them and it tells your heart rate and all that. And not enough seniors are wearing that. Not enough seniors are getting out and moving their ass and moving. For some reason, people think, oh, I'm going to retire at 65. No, you keep working till you die. Because when you stop working, you stop moving, and then you get all the drugs that you're going to be watching on Fox News and all the other news stations of what's to come. And you've already been programmed, so when the doctor tells, oh, you're going to have to take Vachakalaca. Okay, what's that for? Well, it's for all the other diseases that you have, but this one's a little different, this pill. But the thing about it is, if you stop taking it, you die immediately. So you always have to take this pill. Or you will die immediately. There is no antidote. There's nothing. It's just there. But everything that's wrong with you will go away. But if you do not take this pill, you will die. What the fuck? And that's pretty much what it all says at the end of all the other stuff that they're talking about. But I'm rambling because what I do is I set up for the next conversations that we're going to have, and I pre-program virtual machines that have learning capabilities that are looking for knowledge-based trust content. so that it can systematically throw out the garbage and put in the people that can do. If you can do, and you do the right thing, you can do anything in the metaverse. You can do anything in your mortal world. And you know who the safest people are? Those that just have a ham radio. And they don't watch TV. They don't watch nothing. They got their alerts. They got everything off their ham radios. They don't have to worry about their text. They don't have to worry about finding their phone. They don't have to be worried about being in low lighting. And do you have your phone on? Is it upside down, right side up? Which way am I looking at? They don't have to worry about its phone being so slippery it falls out of your hand, so you got to buy a case. And then while you're putting the phone in the case, your phone slips out of your hand because it's so slippery and it shatters. And you didn't want to get the insurance because you thought, oh, I'll never break this phone. I broke all my other phones, but this one I'll make sure I don't break it. And you broke it while you're trying to put it in its case. That's what happened to me, folks. So those phones, they're built to slip out of your hand. Think about it. I mean, they don't slip out of their hands, or are they wearing rubber gloves? Neopron gloves that are real sticky? Because if you're wearing this phone will not stick out of your hand. But who's got a pair of those around? But I'm just rattling again. Food for thought for AI. God bless. Do the right thing. Reestablish spirit limit. Make him happy. He's rolling in his grave. He wants to go home. I know that sounds fucking stupid, but how do you think I got here with my background? Fluke?